According to our friends at the Gateway Pundit, a last-minute resolution passed by the Georgia State Election Board by a 3-2 vote on Wednesday called on state authorities to seek assistance from the U.S. Department of Justice and other federal agencies to obtain those voting records and documents Liz and I were talking about related to the 2020 contest from Fulton County. That's the state's largest county and, of course, a Democratic stronghold. This has been an ongoing fight, which we've covered here extensively, kind of exclusively extensively, right here on The Absolute Truth since the 2020 election between the Democrat stronghold of Fulton County and the Georgia Board of Elections to turn over these key documents pertaining to Fulton County's funny voter rolls and off machine counts. You might remember that these videos went viral showing workers on Fulton County at the election headquarters literally, looked like allegedly stuffing fake ballots into the dead of night into boxes. And then, of course, you remember Joe Biden wheezing to the press about keeping voting going on election night. We all know why. Here's their official ruling requesting Trump's DOJ help. Listen.
This is about the lack of production of any documents that I asked for relating to this case. And this case is not closed. It is not dismissed. It has not been complied with. And to date, from the subpoena from November 5th, 2024, not a single document has been presented to this board.
We're now joined by Joe Rossi. He's an election integrity advocate, a citizen investigator, and just a good patriot from Georgia who's been at the epicenter of this story and really broke open this information. It's good to see you, Joe. It's been a little while.
Yes, good to see you, Emerald. Thanks for having me on.
So the board is asking for the DOJ to help. What is the latest and where do you see this going?
Okay, so as you may recall, back last summer in July, the board was pushing to get this resolution passed, to get the documents. They came up with a slight slap on the wrist to Fulton County for reprimanding them for double scanning thousands of ballots, for missing ballot images, sloppy documentation. All of that was contingent upon the board, the Secretary of State's office, and Fulton County agreeing to a monitoring team by July 9th of last year. So, but that never happened. So that basically made that resolution mute and kept our case alive. So on November 5th, election day, late in the day, the board members filed a petition or filed a lawsuit against Fulton County and subpoenaed all those documents, which Dr. Johnson has been asking for a long time. On the day that subpoena was due, the chairman of Fulton County Board, the director of elections for Fulton County, had gone out and hired an attorney for $250,000 and petitioned to quash that subpoena. However, that petition was circumvented the Fulton County Board of Elections. Their bylaws state that anything coming from the county board has to go to the board for a vote, and those two individuals bypassed that. So essentially, there is no lawsuit at this point to block or quash the subpoena, and it's just been sitting there in limbo. So this last board meeting, July 29th, Dr. Johnson put before the board a resolution, again, asking the Secretary of State's office and the AG's office to help get those documents from Fulton County up, and pushed it even further, said that information would go to the Department of Justice for investigation if the state of Georgia failed to do so. And that resolution passed 3-2 with the democratically appointed member voting against it. And then, interestingly enough, Mr. Ferviero, the chairman, was literally fuming if you watch that video or watch that hearing. And he said, a strong nay vote. And fortunately, just because it's a strong nay vote, it doesn't mean other than one nay vote. So it passed 3-2. And now that information is going to the Department of Justice for investigation. So I believe we're going to get the support we need from different people around the state. I'm already starting to hear some folks that weren't aboard jump aboard now, seeing the 3 letters DOJ. And I believe that's going to get a lot of pressure now to actually get an investigation and get those documents released. And the reason this is so important is, you know, the 2024 election happened, but the accountability has never taken place for those individuals that were involved in what we know was election fraud, double counting of ballots, missing ballot images, and more importantly, those that covered that up. And that, to me, is the biggest issue why I keep pressing is we constantly brought this information to the Secretary of State's office, to different members of the board, to the AG's office, and I still believe in my mind and heart that there was a massive effort and cover up, and I've got many documents, emails, letters, etc., that can put together a case that they were doing everything they could to cover up what they ultimately had to admit were errors in the counting of votes in Georgia in 2020.
So you believe these documents that are being requested will explicitly show that, right? It will back up what you've already found and just further solidify that premise.
Yes, I'm confident the documents that the board has asked for will show that there are thousands of ballots that were not only scanned twice, which Ms. McGowan says, well, we think they were scanned, but we're not sure they were counted. We will know for sure that they were scanned and counted multiple times. We will also know that how that happened was involved intentional human intervention. It wasn't just a clerical error. And that would be the predicate for fraud.